All right, guys, welcome back to Net Worth. This is your boy, Justin Pugh. I had to bring in the experts. I had to go directly to the fans, the content creators that are in the fan base, and I had to go to the Cowboys first. So I really appreciate you guys joining me. Like, subscribe, do all that shit. But today we're getting back to the fans. Like I said, we're in the NFC East, and I want to appreciate you guys for jumping on the show. So I want to give everyone a quick minute to give a little bit about themselves, not about themselves. Introduce yourselves, plug anything you want to plug with. We got Rome. I'll let you kick it off for first. Cowboys Fan Talk.
All right. I just want to appreciate you for bringing me on. Everybody call me Rome or Mr. Rome, Cowboys Fan Talk. You can find me at Cowboys Fan Talk on YouTube, Cowboys_Fan Talk on Twitter. Twitter get a little dangerous, so, enter
Well, Twitter's how we found each other, man. Twitter, your guys' names, every time I said, hey, who are the biggest Cowboys fans out there? You three were all the ones that came up. JTuck, really, I said, JTuck, the guys aren't answering me. He goes, oh, I'm on it. I'll get them.
Yeah, I'm on it. I got it. That's it.
JTuck, you want to go next?
Yeah, what's going on, man? It's your boy JTuck, not the Giants version, because a lot of people confuse me with the guy for the Giants. I often get, I don't know how you can do all this Cowboys content when you won Super Bowls for the Giants. Like, I appreciate that. I think I'm a Super Bowl champion, but the other JTuck, the Cowboys version. But yeah, you guys can follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151, my YouTube channel, CFO Sports. We do a lot of Cowboys content. But for some of you Giants fans, I do a lot of draft content as well. So that, week 2, week 3, I might want to poke your heads in and kind of get acclimated to what's going on in college football. So thanks for having us on, JP, and we're excited to do what we do best, which is talk Dallas Cowboys football.
Yes, and last but not least, Voch, you're up, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, man, shouts out to y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for watching and hitting a like and all that kind of stuff. I'm Voch Lombardi. I'm not as big on Twitter and social medias and all that. That's JTuck's world, but I'm YouTube guy. Just like he said, we do Cowboys in the regular season. But if y'all want to watch a little bit of draft, tap in with us in the draft. Your wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, was my wide receiver one, and I got a lot of pushback on that. But, hey, man, we fight. We fight and we keep on fighting, and one of us going to be right. And if I'm right, I'm going to let you know about it. Appreciate you.
That's exactly the beauty of it. That's the beauty of any takes, man, is we're time stamping this. So like when I said the Giants need to restructure Andrew Thomas and they did it yesterday, you're sure as hell my little clip of me doing it, like, hey, I told you this is going to happen in April. So the way I want to kick this thing off is I want to talk about last year a little bit. I played you guys last year. That team was real. You guys whooped our ass. I wasn't there week 1, so I don't want to hear about that game. We're not talking about that one. But we came to your guys' place. My first ever game was Cowboy Stadium. Now, I thought the Cowboys were going to draft me. I've told this story a few times. Back in 2013, Jerry brought me in. I walk in Dallas Cowboy Stadium. It says, welcome to Cowboy Stadium. Jordan Pugh on the Cowboys Jumbotron. I was like, fuck, they're not drafting me. You guys ended up trading that pick and taking Travis Frederick, who was a good player. But the fact that I was on the radar, and the Cowboys have some drafting history of drafting good players, I'm like, all right, this is good. But give me your guys' recap on last year. You started, it was 12-5. It looked like, I'm going to be honest with you, you guys looked unbeatable last year. Getting to the playoffs, tough loss to Green Bay. How did you guys handle that as Cowboys fans? Because I'm going to be honest, playing you guys last year, I'm like, oh shit. You guys always say it's the year, but like last year felt like the year. JTuck, I see you shaking your head. I'm going to let you roll first.
Yeah, I felt like last year the stars were kind of starting to align for us Cowboys fans, right? Kicking back to the offseason, bringing in Stephon Gilmore, also with the addition of Brandon Cooks. I feel like Cowboys fans felt like we were actually moving forward to being aggressive in the offseason. Had a decent draft with Mozzie Smith and Luke Schoonmaker and DeMarvion Overshown. And then once we got to the season, I felt like things really got rolling, right? We saw our offense in the post-Kellen Moore, regime, and Mike McCarthy was fully in control of the play calling, and we saw Dak starting to ascend to an MVP caliber season. But not only Dak Prescott, we also saw CeeDee Lamb really take over and become one of those premier targets in the NFL. So for me personally, I was feeling good about the season, but my biggest question mark was we wasn't just beating the teams that kind of had some elk about. I mean, like we wasn't beating Buffalo. We wasn't beating, San Fran stumped the mud hole in us, right? And then we wasn't beating the Dolphins, and we split with Philly. So those good teams, those good caliber playoff teams, we never really had those victories to kind of lean off of. Going into the playoffs, I felt okay, but my biggest concern was if you go back and watch Green Bay, where that Shanahan tree still kind of, comes under play. And then also, under Dan Quinn, I felt like Jordan Love was a quarterback who doesn't make a lot of turnovers. He's playing a high caliber football. I was like, this is going to be a lot closer game than a lot of people expect. Now, did I expect to get punched in the mouth like we did? No, but it was kind of embarrassing loss, but hopefully this season that loss carries forward where they remember you can't get too high, get too low throughout the season, remain humble because the playoffs is where it ultimately matters. So how do we recover? I don't know. I don't think Cowboys fans have recovered from that Green Bay loss if they ever will, but you got to move forward and, start pressing forward, and we'll see what happens under Mike Zimmer and this new defensive coaching staff.
All right, Rome, I see you smiling already. I know you have something for me. Like, add on to that, subtract, add your little flavor to it. What's your thoughts on last year?
I'll sum it up in 2 words. Last year was fool's gold. I am, if you watch any of my content, I'm glass half full guy. I'm the Kool-Aid drinking Cowboys fan. I'm that guy. I'm not, we're going to the Super Bowl guy, but I am right up to that. And I think last year, we showed a lot of great things, but the difference between us and, say, for instance, the analysis you might get from like a 4-letter network, 3-letter network is we kind of all seen the cracks, whether we wanted to acknowledge them or not. We knew that we were not good at linebacker and very short there. We knew that we had defensive tackle issues. We knew that, Tyron Smith was a ticking time bomb. We know these things that people don't really discuss on the day-to-day, but the fan in us allows us to look past it when the ball is kicked off. So we kind of knew our weaknesses heading into Green Bay, even if we ain't want to really talk about it as much. So last year we knew that we had weaknesses that probably would rear their heads at the worst time. We just thought, well, maybe our positives will overcome that stuff. And it just came at the worst time possible. We played our worst football. So I think sometimes the best way to sum up last year, when I say fool's gold, I think even some of the players were reading their press clippings. I remember the bravado that we went in the Buffalo game with. I don't even know if you remember the beginning of that game. Our players was dancing and kind of just like everybody was lighthearted. And I think that was one of the first times in the year we got like some medicine. Like, you might not be as good as you think you are. Mm-hmm. And we didn't take it as serious. And long story short, you saw what happened in Green Bay. But I think that this is my positive spin on it because, I got to spin it. I think that experiences like that can lead to, better performance this year because you went through overlooking people. You went through reading your press clippings and feeling yourself, and you failed on the biggest stage in the world. Everybody saw that loss. So I think everybody that has came back to this team are coming back with a little bit more, let's just say, chip on their shoulder.
It's tough, though, because in Dallas, when you're called America's team, and Voch, I'm going to let you handle this one.
Yeah.
When you're called America's team and you have won Super Bowls, and the reason why so many people are Dallas Cowboys fans is, honestly, the Cowboys were so dominant for so long. I mean, there's a lot of Super Bowl babies out there that are Cowboys fans because it was just like every year, it was like champion after championship. So, Voch, tell me this, America's team, is it hurting the current day Cowboys? Because it's such a hard, because when I watched that game, I just saw Dak and CD just weren't on the same page. It looked like that pressure. Every time there was an incomplete pass or something bad happened, I just felt the walls closing in. And that's just as a casual fan. So is this America's team like moniker starting to get to the guys? I know we touched on last year, but how do you feel about that whole, it's a sick nickname. I mean, I can't get mad at you.
Well, you have to look at the Dallas Cowboys in that way, right? Because no other team, whether you win, you care. Whether they lose, you care. Like, the Lions just started winning last year. Nobody talked about the Lions when they lose. Nobody talks about Jacksonville when they lose. Nobody cares about none of this. But they'll look out for the Cowboys, whether it's a high-profile game or not, and they look for the Cowboy win or they look for the Cowboy loss. We are Floyd Mayweather. You ain't got to like us, but you will tune in to watch us lose.
There's 10.8 billion reasons why now. We just got the valuation. That shit's crazy. And to your point, though, this is not Illuminati theory, and I don't want to shoot at Jerry Jones too much because at the end of the day, you got to go out there and play. You have to go out there and coach. But
everybody's gonna give you the best shot they could absolutely give. I don't know why that's the case.
100%.
Very true.
It could be media, it could be whatever, but nobody cares about the Cowboys winning Super Bowls in the 90s. The damn Patriots. Why don't y'all give them your best shot? Why don't you give Patrick Mahomes your best shot? It's all this Cowboy media. The Cowboys fans, they say this our year. We don't say that. We was sad as hell. We was up here trying to figure out what we doing at linebacker and one tech. We're not walking around talking about, this our year. That's media stuff. What needs to happen, Justin and Rome, what needs to happen is that we need to lean into this idea. Hey, bro, the Carolina Panthers about to play us hard today.
Mm-hmm.
We got to hit them back. You know what I'm saying? One thing I love about JTuck, right? He hates the pageantry of the Cowboys. He hates this clean look. He hates Thunderstruck when they play it. We need to lean into the villainy. I agree with him there. We need to lean into just being the bad guys, right? We want to, we got the Walter Payton Man of the Year award here. Cool, that's perfect, man. But like, y'all don't like us like that.
Right.
Y'all not, Dak Prescott is as clean as a dude as it gets. He's as honest a dude as it gets. He's Abraham Lincoln as it gets. He's a great guy. Walter Payton Man of the Year.
Right.
And they boo him.
They booed him.
At the damn the Man of the Year?
Mm-hmm.
You booed that guy. Dak Prescott need to wear a hat backwards, smoke a Black and Mild at one of these press conferences.
The Shannon Sharp.
Some damn slippers and say, man, look, and look, we almost got Dark Dak for a minute. We almost got Joker Jack. But he's a brand. You know, he's brand ambassador.
The quarterback club is different, man.
I want Dak to just be like, F all y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And we gonna y'all give us y'all best shot. We're gonna give y'all your best shot too. D-Law came out and said it. People overreacted, but I understood what he was saying. He was like, hey, man, we tired. Yeah, all y'all physically tired, but being a Cowboy is mentally exhausting. Mm-hmm. And last year, it went as perfect as it could go. We beat the hell out the Eagles, and they crumble at the end of the year. We laughing, and we trying to avoid San Francisco in the first round. That works out. You know, the Rams go and play somebody else. And look, I understand the Green Bay Packers are a good team, and all the playoff teams are good teams. But if there was a team you wanted to play in the playoffs, it wasn't Detroit. It wasn't San Francisco. You would love to, no disrespect, but you would love to run to Green Bay in round one.
We had just beat up on them on Monday Night Football. And we were
Green Bay. You like,
with,
man.
With Tommy DeVito, man.
Like,
come on.
And that was our problem. That was our problem.
Yep.
Thank you, Ron.
Right,
I was watching Green Bay.
That was our problem.
Thank you, Ron. I was watching Green Bay like, that's what we doing? Give me them.
Yep.
And I think everybody went into that mode.
No, not Tuck. Tuck. Me and Tuck almost was arguing. Tuck was like, "Bro, you got to watch out."
I was like, "Nah," because we were too comfortable. I mean, we had some players. We had players having party flyers for post game celebrations already pressed up. They was ready to go. They was ready, and Green Bay said, "Not so fast." So
that's the beauty of the NFL.
We needed that medicine, though. We needed it.
It's how, when you wake up and how you feel when you wake up in the morning really does dictate it. And when you are, feeling yourself and you're putting out party flyers before a game, that comes back to bite you. Now, look, this all starts with one man.
It's culture.
Jerry.
Yeah.
And you've seen the things he's come out and said. And as a player, when I see him talk that way about some of his players, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It is crazy. So what is the Jerry Jones effect? He did is the part of the reason why early in the 90s, he bought the team and did all those things. But how do you guys feel about Jerry Jones right now? Because what I'm seeing from a money standpoint, and I always follow the money, I'm watching teams like the Cleveland Browns, the Philadelphia Eagles paying their guys, and I see Jerry Jones saying, "Oh, not paying guys is good for press." And I'm like, "What are we trying to win football games? Or are we trying to have a media circus?" And that, as fans, how does that make you feel? What's the temperature like in Dallas with Jerry Jones right now?
Y'all want me to take it? Y'all want
to go first, Rome?
I think Dallas right now, you have to compartmentalize. That's the best way to look at the Cowboys. You have to look at the marketing side and the football side. You have to. It's your chosen way of life. As D-Law had a recent interview saying that, if you're a Cowboy, you should be used to this because Jerry welcomes the press and bad press, good press, all press is good. So when I look at Jerry Jones, I think marketing. I hate that I think like that. He a Hall of Famer for what he's done for the league. And, I'm not going to take away what he's done for the Cowboys, what I'm saying? But as far as football-wise, I don't think Jerry puts football first, if I'm being completely honest. I think that he pays people to put football first. And depending on if it's good for his brand, he'll let the football be first or let the marketing be first. Presently, right now, I think he is definitely enjoying the fact that because he hasn't signed two of his biggest players, we have to be a talking point. You know, I don't know if it's a literal strategy. I don't know if they're like, okay, let's actually announce the signings the week before the game. I don't know if that's the case, because it might literally be he's just dug in because he's stubborn. But I do know that when I look at the Cowboys and I see Jerry Jones pop up, I can't tell you that I don't roll my eyes first and just say, what is Jerry going to say today? Because it's almost like he's looking for a buzzword at this point. It's not organic anymore. You know, everything has to be kind of like, I'll let y'all stew on that for 3 days until my next media spot next week. So it has lost its fervor, its excitement for me. I don't know about for Tuck and Voch.
Mm-hmm.
When I see Jerry, I'm like, here you go. You know, now ESPN loves it. FS1 might love it, and that's great because it's great for shows. But for us, for the diehard fans, we want to talk about football because we have an amazing football team. And I'm sure we'll get to that. But when I see Jerry, I almost wait and say, well, what does Steven say? Because then you'll start getting some factual evidence. And I'll lob that alley-oop up from one of my brothers and let them take that home.
Yeah, I'll go. I just think that my biggest frustration with the culture, it overlaps with what happens on the field, right? So, Justin, you play at the ultimate level, but we all know that the practice field, the locker room, that's your sanctuary. What if I said I can come tour your sanctuary, and while you're trying to have lunch, I can pull out my camera phone and take pictures of you and ask you for autographs and distract you while you're trying to get prepared for the games? And so it's just, I just don't understand why it has to overlap, right? Like, case in point right now is if you do not get this Dak deal, and Dak spoke on it yesterday, well, I don't want to talk about contract talk throughout the entire of the season. So either you're going to nip it right now and let's close the door and just say, okay, we'll deal with it in the offseason, but every loss, every win is going to be, should Mike McCarthy return? Should Dak Prescott return? And that can get exhausting, even if you're a player not Dak Prescott or Mike McCarthy. If you're a young player like Mozzie Smith and you step to the podium,
that's who they're going to ask. They're going to ask the other players.
Do you think Dak has done enough? And so it puts you in an awkward situation because no matter what you say, they're going to be lingering on for that headline. So I just hate that it just intertwines, right? It's not just football over here, business over here. The business and the football is all mixed up, and sometimes the Cowboys have trouble separating the two.
Can you just quickly explain? Because I know this because I know players that have been there. But what do you mean when players are walking through the locker room or walking through? Because not many, no other fan bases do this. So can you explain what the Dallas Cowboys do?
Yeah. So as a Cowboys fan, I can pay to tour the Star, which is the practice facility out there in Frisco, and just walk around and see players in their quote unquote natural habitat. In season, yeah. And so while you're in the gym working out, doing your power cleans, there's a glass wall around it, and I can sit there and just, now you can't see me.
It's double-sided glass, yeah.
It's double-sided, so I can sit there and take photos and, you know, all sorts of stuff and watch you power clean. And then you want to come out to the cafeteria and maybe grab lunch with some of your teammates, and you're sitting down having a conversation. Well, there's my favorite player. Hey, Justin, love you. And so you're just kind of just pulling them into taking the focus away from practice and work. Because I can tour the facility. I can go in your locker room, Justin, and sit in your locker and take a selfie if I wanted to.
And that's a sanctuary. That's a personal space. Voch, if it wasn't Jerry Jones, I probably would move on, but I need your take too on it because it really is. I mean, look, it's what makes the Cowboys worth $10.8 billion. It is what makes us talk about them nonstop. But as a fan, man, it has to hurt because you got to go out there in the world. You have to go face for all the shit that he does and says and the way he treats the players sometimes. Like without you're soldiers for a cause that do you 100% agree with all the time?
I'm loud, man. I don't care. I don't care about what these people talking about. They can come up and fight with me. I don't care. That's the one thing that I don't too much care. I actually like Jerry a little more than other people do. I'll tell you why. I don't like the voyeuristic nature that, Tuck and them was talking about, how everybody just gets to look in on us. Oh, what are they doing today? Oh, Dak Prescott played golf today. What's going on with But that's more media stuff, right? I don't like when it turns into a distraction and it's only a distraction because media starts to talk about it, right? So it's the whole Jerry Jones media thing though. But if I could play devil's advocate for a second, Devil says this: if I was a billionaire and JTuck can't tell me nothing because I got $1 billion, right? Rome can't tell me nothing. And I bought a football team.
Yeah.
Man, I'm finna be all up in me. Man, McCarthy making me sick today. Y'all ain't even asked me that question. I want to tell you about my quarterback and how bad I think he is. If devil's advocate, if I'm a billionaire and I own a football team, man, good luck trying to get me to be a company, man. Good luck trying to get me to, all right, we're just going to keep it in-house today, man. Let somebody make me sick. I can't promise that I wouldn't come out and say somebody made me sick today. But you just have to know what you're dealing with prior to going. If you know, I forgot my man's name, Jason Pierre-Paul, right? Blew his fingers off. He got to play football with no fingers now. He has to acclimate to football with no fingers. Dak Prescott got to be like, man, Jerry be talking all kinds of, man. Right. You just have to be.
They're used to it.
Yeah. They're 100% used to it. It's just the only thing that gets bad about it. If Jerry says something, I'm sure that the players don't care. I don't care. We don't care. But when Stephen A hears Jerry say something and now they got to see it on TV. Now I can't even watch TV for 12 hours because Jerry didn't say something about, I would love for Sean Payton to come be the head coach while Mike McCarthy got 2 more years on the contract, right? It's stuff like that gets nonsensical for me. But man, if I was the owner, I'm a billionaire on a yacht somewhere, man, please.
Well, Jerry, one thing I will say, Jerry's made some great hires. The people that he has focusing on football in that facility, there's one guy that I got to give a shout out to, and I never met Will McClay, but he's the vice president of player personnel. He has to be, I don't know how, he must be paying him so well because he should be a GM somewhere else right now. But Will McClay, we're going to throw his face up right now. You guys have hit on every draft since 2010, 11. It has been remarkable. Is that a testament to like being able to separate church and state and have the business and the marketing and all that bullshit and then having like real football? Because if you guys just focused on like the football, if the Cowboys just focused on football, you would be world champions because of the amount of talent evaluators you guys have. You can't figure out how to pay them because Jerry won't let you spend any money. I don't know why that doesn't work. But in terms of talent evaluation, Will McClay, do you guys have any insight on Will McClay or any other shout outs within the organization there?
I'm going to take this one because the 2 gentlemen below me, those are the draft gurus. That's not my particular expertise. So I'm a grab this real quick and just hand it off to them. Will McClay deserves a lot of respect. Now, last year's draft wasn't the best, but we're not going to go down that road. This year, it seems like they've made up for last year. But I think Will McClay is an excellent football mind. I think sometimes he gets caught up in what I was saying before, the fact that it isn't always just football. So there's a lot of things I think go on in that war room rather than just this is the best player, this is the best fit. I think a lot of the stuff comes into play, and that maybe we don't get to hear what they're talking about in that war room, but I know that Jerry, Steven, et cetera, have a lot of input in that room. If they just let Will and his scouts do their thing, we probably would hit in the draft even more. Yeah. But I don't understand how they still get to keep him because I'm sure another team has made him an offer. So I'm pretty sure he's getting taken care of pretty handsomely. I don't know the specifics.
He has to be. I'd throw the Brinks truck at him, bro.
Right.
A brown paper bag full of money. That's
because he would have been left. But as far as like how well we do in the draft, it's the only way we are having like that we get to sit in front of you and have confidence in our team. Because every time I seem to be like after last year's loss, a lot of us were out. I had to talk myself into it for months. Like, is this year going to be bad? But then you start seeing some of these players that even during draft night, I'm not as like in-depthly involved. I've gotten better. Certain players like Marshawn Nealon get drafted. I'm like, who is that? Or Morris Luafau and stuff like that. And I'm like, what are they doing? Because I'm the players that I'm used to seeing. When I was doing my little draft research, I was like, why are we skipping players? But Will knows what he's doing, apparently, and his scouts. I want to leave them out. I just don't know their names. And then you start to see these players perform, and you're like, I'm back in. I was out. I'm back in. I think we might win 11 games.
Go out there and put hands on fools. All right, I'm back.
Yeah, so, but as far as like the specifics, man, I don't know, man. I don't know how they do it. But Will knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
So hold on. Let me. I'm gonna pass this one to you, JTuck and Voch, and whoever is best equipped to handle it. Do we not know how to pay players in the league right now? You pay them early, you front load it, you prorate it out. The model's out there. Jerry's got more cash. It's not like he can't front load a signing bonus. Talk to me about the way we spend money. You can come back to Will McClay too, but that is what's killing me, because you hit in the draft and then you don't pay the players. Right. That don't make sense.
Yeah, you can't pride yourself on being a draft and develop team and get mad when the players actually develop. Like, there's a price tag for that. So, me personally, our motto is in Will McClay we trust, right? Because it's like, okay, the one bright lining that we got when it comes to being a Cowboys fan is the draft. Like, that's why we get so excited, because we know we can trust Will McClay. But me personally, I feel like Jerry and Steven need to learn from another guy in Dallas, which is Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban was always overstepping boundaries, had his hands and everything. Then finally he said, you know what? I'm going to go be rich real quick, and I'm going to let the basketball people handle basketball, and I'll be right back. And you see what's happening. They end up winning a championship. If Jerry and Steven was to do that with Will McClay, I guarantee things will look a lot different. If you gave the talent and the mind of Will McClay the free reign that Howie Roseman gets, we would be out there killing, And honestly, I think if Will McClay was the real GM, Dak Prescott's deal would have been done, and also CeeDee Lamb's deal would have been done, because what's happening right now is Dak and Todd France are dealing with the owners, not the middleman, but they're actually talking to the owners, and you have this owner's ego. So to answer your question, I think when it comes to Jerry and Steven, why they're not getting these deals done, it's simply just off the ego. They felt like they lost the first time versus Dak Prescott, and they want to make things wait. They want to squeeze things out, and you need to prove it to us and prove who you are. And things do not work like that at the NFL level. And Dak Prescott is saying, I've been proving things since the moment I stepped here in Dallas. So I feel like for the most part, they know they can be proactive. They just don't have that mindset. They have a very reactive mindset till things break down. Oh, okay, now we're scrambling. Now we need a linebacker, when me, Voch, and Rome was saying we need a linebacker week 1. Or in the previous season, hey, these wide receivers ain't gonna cut it, right? But now it's Christmas time, and you got me screaming OBJ at a Mavericks game because we got desperate. And T.Y. Hilton. So it's like they just have this reactive mindset because there's no sense of urgency. They kind of sit back and wait. And here we are, 19 days away from week 1. Oh, we'll get CeeDee Lamb done when we get home. What they said the other day, y'all? Oh, CeeDee's agent was at the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? Y'all ain't got no internet out there? It's like, oh, we'll get to it, but his agent's out at the Olympics, so we just chilling. But meantime, your number one weapon is missing valuable time. So it's just no sense of urgency. It's arrogance and ego when it comes to
arrogance is the word.
And we end up paying the price as Cowboys fans.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem.
Are you firing? You've already talked about being an owner. If you were the owner, if you were another owner, are you like, Jerry, get your shit together? Would you fire Jerry right now? Is that like if you could?
Yes.
You can't fire nobody that got $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? So
if you had $10.8 billion right now, are you trying to, Jerry, just get out?
Yeah, I'm getting them up out of it. I'm buying this team, man. But
what are you doing if you're the first day as owner of the Cowboys? Are you going to promote Will? Like, what's your move?
I'm about to be on a yacht somewhere. What you mean?
Yo, the guy just went down outside of Italy on his super yacht, man. Those yachts ain't safe either.
hey, listen. They will pay Dak. This is a conversation that we have every 4 or 5 years or so. But it's never whether players get paid or not. The Cowboys always cave, but that's the problem. That it's this caving process, right? Like it's never like, all right, man, it's November of the previous year. We just feel like you've earned it, man. Here's your bread, and just getting ahead of it. But what happens is they'll wait. And there's this one thing Jerry says. I vehemently disagree when he says this, but he says deadlines make deals. That old nonsense. Look at JTuck. Look. Right. Deadlines make deals. No, they don't. Money make deals.
Right.
Money's in handshakes and incentives. Insurance makes deals. Deadlines make deals. So what happens is you could because Dak gonna ask for some money. Man, Dak, look, I know you're gonna ask for some money. And the highest paid quarterback make $52 million. I'll give you 55 right now. And Dak will probably say yeah to it because that's the way. But they want to wait around. They want to tap their watch. They want to take their time. And now you owe Dak 60.
You know what it is, Watch? You know what
minimum,
it is?
60 minimum.
It's not the money. The Cowboys want to say, we'll give you 55. They'll give you the 57.
for 7
But
years.
you got to sign for 9 years.
Yeah.
7 years. You want that long year. See, what happens though, just look, Ty Friend says, hey,
Layaway.
look, pay us, but we want to come back to the table in 3 years or 4 years. Shorter contracts benefits the player, especially if you're a banger player. Like if you Dak and you just runner up in the MVP, okay, I'll be back to get more money in 3 or 4 years. The Cowboys want a little bit of relief.
They got Tyron for a decade.
They signed. Look,
but there were some other things on that Tyron deal. That was like there was some stuff going on outside of football, I believe, where he got 10 years because Tyron did a disservice to left tackles because he should have been making. He should have been the first one making $25-30 million.
That's what everybody's saying. Mahomes did.
Yeah.
Mahomes should be making like $90 million right now, but he took that long deal.
Look, though, wrong. But if you Pat, just like if you Dak, because I think they're the same kind of dude, though, right? Like, hey, what you gonna win without me? You can always go back and be like, hey, I don't like this. Give me something else or else. You know what I'm saying? Like Jerry and them feel like they have leverage in this. They don't, especially when you the runner up in the MVP. This ain't like Jimmy Garoppolo or something. He can go.
May I say something to that, Voch?
But
May I say something really quick? That is an excellent point.
See if you play.
A lot of people say, I heard this the other day from I forgot the gentleman that was on 105.3 The Fan.
John Machado.
He said that this whole signing players early thing is a myth because if a player outperforms their contract, you're still going to have to give them more money if they don't feel like it's up to par. See AJ Brown, see Matthew Stafford, et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of pointless, this whole, well, if the Cowboys would have signed Dak 2 years ago, or anyone, you don't have to be Dak Prescott, that they would have just had a deal the entire life of the contract. No, if the player outperforms it, their agent's going to come to talk to you for a little bit. So it's kind of just pay your players what they're worth. And if you don't feel like they're worth that, then you should trade them and move on to another player. But this whole holding them hostage just creates disgruntled players. I'm sorry. I think
the thing when a lot of people compare like Dak to Mahomes, right? Here in Kansas City, why did Mahomes sign that long-term deal? Because the Chiefs made Mahomes feel appreciated. They say, you are our guy. They ain't franchise tag him once. They ain't franchise tag him twice. So at the end of the day, Pat Mahomes know, okay, they are going to do right by me. Mm-hmm. That's not the same thing when it comes to Dak Prescott. Jerry and Stephen Jones didn't even want him. If they had it their way, they would have put him right on that bench and went right back to Tony Romo, and things probably would have changed for Dak Prescott. So since Dak has been here in 2016, the ownership hasn't fought for him. So no, I'm not going to sign a 9-year deal and restructure and not get the back half of my money because I do not trust you. So as of right now, we're going to do 3 to 4 year deals. We're going to honor this no trade clause, and you're going to pay me my money, or I'm going to walk and be in Vegas next year. Because we all saw on display Saturday, Vegas going to pay whatever for a quarterback. Hell, I might toss my name in the hat. You know what I'm saying? So
but Rome, here's my thing about paying.
Don't say that.
Here's my thing about paying players, Rome, is I mean, like if they paid these guys in November or December as soon as the season ended, because you knew you had to get Dak done, you know you got to get CD done, and you know you got to get Micah done. So like you're pushing all three of these guys out. Bill Belichick just had a great quote. He's like, yeah, the Cowboys actually aren't going to, you're still getting the same players next year. Like CD's still a monster, Dak's still a monster, and Micah's still a monster. You just got to pay him a whole lot more. He was talking about like Brady and I think the left tackle at the time. Like you're still getting the same player. Like Dak Prescott's not taking this insane step from last year to this year. He was runner up for the MVP. How much better can you get? But you just have to pay those guys more. And where the Cowboys messed up though is like if you were the first to market, you're paying $50 million for a top quarterback. Now all of a sudden Jordan Love's getting 55. Now we're getting into the $57 million range. Dak can sit there all day and say, you got to give me 60. Mm-hmm. So if the Cowboys were just first to act once in a while, especially with their marquee
I agree.
cornerstone stars, yes, they may come back down the road, but when they come back down the road, let's get it done early again because it's going to save you $10 million to get just being a few months ahead. So speaking of the stars, Dak's deal gets done. We already agree with that. We don't have to. Is there anyone that thinks it might not get done?
I don't think it does.
You don't think it does?
Mm-mm.
He plays it out.
Mm-hmm. I think,
and he gets $75 million a year from the Raiders next year.
Just want me to be emotional. That's all.
And it hurts, but I can tell by the way that Dak has been speaking in some of these interviews. There's a lot of but I'm not going to. Well, actually, I am. There's been a lot of great quarterbacks that had to play. So the talk is a lot different when it comes to Dak Prescott. And I feel like what's going on right now is that they're going to kind of just sit back, hold tight. And from what I've been hearing in house is that the Cowboys feel like they can win Dak back in the open market next year. So
ask New York and Philadelphia. It doesn't work that way.
Right. So once again, so that 60 that we're talking about right now, but that's 65, 70. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a completely different range. So that's what they're kind of feeling. So if I had to put money on it, I don't think Dak has a deal done by week 1. Now, will it happen in the middle of the season? I don't know. But I think that CeeDee Lamb gets done first, and then we'll have to sit back and wait and see when it comes to Dak Prescott, because I don't think they're going to move the needle, especially they wouldn't burn the 4th round pick in Trey Lance, which we'll probably talk about here in a second.
Dak Prescott will be signed in 20 seconds. Remember how DeAndre Swift was somehow a Bear and free agency started at 12? It was like 12:01. It was Dak Prescott will be at his press conference like, we worked it out in 30 seconds.
All right, so Dak might not get done. Voch, where do you fall? Is Dak getting done before the season starts, or are we going into the season without a deal?
Within the next 2 weeks, I don't know. It should be done. It should have been done last week or last month or whatever. But I think it'll get done. I'm more concerned about, like Micah next year or something like that. But Dak and Lamb should be good to go, I think.
And CD, do we think? I mean, a report came out today. Jamar Chase is looking for north of 35, closer to $40 million a year. Do we think CD? What do we think that CD number comes in at? 33, 35?
Whatever the highest number is. Yeah. Whatever the highest number is. That's what
I think it's just guarantees. I don't think we're offering the proper guarantees. If I had to do my guess at work, I think the Cowboys are offering the number, but the guarantees look a little funny. If I had to guess, they just guaranteed the right money, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
What more can he do? 135 catches, 1,700 yards plus, 1,750, 12 touchdowns. What more can a receiver do?
Right. And you kind of go back to that culture thing I was talking about. What nugget did we get? Oh, we offered him $33 million. And so now all the fans, he turned down $33 million. CD. Bro, you didn't say nothing about no years, no guarantee, no bonus, nothing. They just tossed out a little soft 33 number and saying, hey, we're trying to work with CD. So now it looks like CD is being selfish when we don't get the full. They offered probably $33 million for like 7 years or something like that. So they're trying to get over and hustle. So me personally, I think that CeeDee Lamb does get the deal. You're probably looking around 34, 35, but it's going to really depend on the length of the contract. But time is ticking. They can't go out there week 1. I know it's the Browns. We're not beating the Browns without 88 out there.
I'm going to keep real with you, Tuck.
Out there. So they're going to have no choice but to cave and fold, just like Voch said. Because if it's a Chris Jones situation like happened in Kansas City, he sat up there in the suite, the Chiefs lost to Detroit and said, you know what?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. No, my phone's been tripping. Here's that PDF, bro. I had it on my phone this entire time, and he came back and anchored them to win the Super Bowl. It'd be the same exact thing for CeeDee Lamb.
I think it's a package deal. I think it's in. I'm pretty sure CeeDee Lamb wants to know what's going on with Dak, because he could sign that deal, and as much as everybody want to say, Dak will move on and stuff like that, CeeDee Lamb will be looked at as a different player. I've literally been hearing, if we went with Trey Lance, we got to win a certain way. CeeDee Lamb don't want you to throw for 120 yards and run for 60.
That's real.
And now I got 40 yards this week and I ain't get a touchdown till week 8. Like, where'd my all pros go? That was the end of it. So he
asked
needs
Garrett Wilson in New York with the Jets how that went last year. Everyone thought Garrett Wilson was like he was the one begging Aaron Rodgers to come back.
Right,
exactly.
Man, I mean that one right there is mind-boggling. I do think CD gets done. I'd be surprised if Dak doesn't get done. I would hate going into a season. Who else can win in Dallas? And you mentioned the name Trey Lance with the pressure. Getting traded from San Francisco to Dallas, already being under the gun, having some people come. Are you guys actually talking about life without Dak, and it's Trey Lance you're talking about?
Not me.
I would never talk about Trey Lance.
When you brought that name up, I was like, holy shit, I didn't even think about that.
I will never talk about Trey Lance in that way. And this is something I learned, right? Point of view is everything. Perspective is everything. If we talking about Trey Lance versus Dak Prescott, I can't stand talking about Trey Lance.
Right.
But if Trey Lance was just a nameless, faceless kid that we just got from free agency or something, we probably didn't owe him a lot of money, and he's just going to come in and sit down and learn. Man, we wouldn't say a bad thing about Trey Lance. Boy, Cowboy marketing, man. Hey, we got to stir up a little controversy, but boy, the media learned their lesson within 8 days of camp, boy. They say, man, we ain't even finna talk about it. We ain't even finna.
It ain't working.
Like this is the thing. So Trey, in my opinion now, I would love for Trey to sign a long contract that makes him a little cheaper because he's on that rookie 3rd overall quarterback deal right now, and he's a very high quarterback to say that he's your third reserve guy right now, or your second, whatever happens. But I would love for Trey to just sit down and be like Jordan Love. Just, we hear nothing from you, and you just pop out one day when you 28 years old, and you just somehow magically better. I would love that for Trey. But there's this whole Dak Prescott contract thing that looms over him. So now he's involved in the conversation when in real life, he just want to throw passes and get better.
Right.
You know?
When JTuck mentioned his name, I was like, oh, shit.
Well, I mean, that was them. Because, like, when we first got Trey, I was like, okay, yeah, we got a good quality backup. You know, we can kind of hold him for a few years. If something happens to Dak, we'll be good. But when Stephen Jones said the thing that attracted them the most was his contract and how, I was just like, all right, here we go. You're saying, here we go. So just like Voch was saying, Trey Lance, a player independently, I still have a lot of upside potential and hope and optimistic for when it comes to Trey. But comparing him to Dak Prescott, absolutely not, bro. Absolutely not. When you're trying to compare him to Dak Prescott and think that you can move on from Dak, plug in Trey with CeeDee Lamb and Jake Ferguson, and everything is going to be A-okay. It is not going to be that way. And we've seen that throughout this preseason.
The fact that we're even having this conversation,
it's crazy.
It's just nonsensical.
Right.
I was not expecting to talk about Trey Lance. I'm going to be honest with you.
It's just,
I didn't write his name down. I'm just letting you know I didn't write his name down. No offense, Trey Lance. I'm sure he's a good guy.
No, I mean, it's just one of those things where only in Cowboy land could you even be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Like, Dak Prescott's the only quarterback I know.
Did you watch the New York Giants last year?
No, I'm just saying. Dak's the only quarterback I know that somehow can make a all-pro irrelevant.
Right.
One thing I will say that makes me feel great about the idea that Dak will be signed and, signed soon is I don't think the Cowboys want to reset. I think they want to be good enough every year. I think they want to be able to compete and just kind of, all right, we'll tinker this position, we'll fix this, we'll sign some veterans there, and we'll just go play. If Dak leaves, everything changes. You have to break everything down and restructure it. We were blessed by the football draft guys, plus teams suck at draft, and they are really terrible at this. But we were grateful for the idea that we follow up Bledsoe with an undrafted Tony Romo and a 4th round Dak. Like, the Cowboys didn't pick those guys with this idea that this is him. This is him. Brian brought a shots out to him, but he'll tell his story all the time. He was a scout. They didn't even want Tony Romo. Sean Payton had to walk up there and be like, hey, man, we need to get this Romo kid. Give him the undrafted highest money we can get to get him. The Cowboys lucked into him. The Cowboys lucked into Dak Prescott. You mean to tell me this team that generally don't evaluate quarterbacks well, we evaluate the shit out of everybody else, but they don't evaluate quarterbacks really well. Jerry Jones wanted Paxton Lynch.
And Connor Cook.
Connor Cook. Oh, yeah.
Johnny Manziel.
I don't want to say nothing bad about none of them quarterbacks because they might watch a show. You might be friends with.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't want to say nothing bad about nobody. But he wanted those characters, those quarterbacks. Pardon me. He wanted those quarterbacks over. Hey, man, sign your guy, and we'll worry about being bad later on unless we get lucky again.
Yeah, focus on offensive linemen. That's our.
You great offensive lineman. Great offensive lineman. We talked about signing veterans. Let's talk about some of the key departures, and then let's talk about some of the key additions. You have Stephon Gilmore, you have Kearse, you have Van Der Esch, you have Tony Pollard, you have Gallimore, you have John Hankins, Michael Gallup, Tyron Smith, Tyler Biadasz, Armstrong, Dante Fowler. Like, you guys lost a lot, and then I look at the additions. I mean, you signed Carl Lawson this week. You got Eric Kendricks. Trayvon Diggs is back. I know he was on the team already. Zeke's back in the building. I mean, you guys lost a lot. Hold on. I won't even say the Zeke name right now. We'll come back to the Zeke name. But like,
I'll tell you what
you lost a lot of starters there. That's like 11 starters. Are you guys going to be able to recover from that? You don't have your 3 stars. Your 3 best players are pissed off, and you lost probably 10 starters from last year.
Please, I got this. Ron, please. Justin Pugh, you weren't paying attention.
We're gonna bring him along slow, Voch.
He wasn't paying attention. This is what I need.
The additions was drafting Mozzie Smith last year. It was drafting Viliami Fehoko last year. It was drafting Tyler Guy. Those are our offseason acquisitions, sir. And then we go and fill in where we need to. So yeah, we lose guys all day, every day.
We need a shirt, and Will McClay we trust, because we're really like replacing all pros and saying this rookie from Oklahoma who's switching sides better come in and replace.
Well, that's the irony. That's the irony. Cowboys, when you watch the Cowboys, you got to take off your Stephen A. Smith glasses and you got to put on your actual football glasses.
Sure.
And the players that we lost, you can't just look at it for face value because it seems like, wow, what are the Cowboys going to do? It's not nearly as bad as it sounds. Trust and believe me when I tell you that Tyler Biadasz, great player, good player. Let's say good. I'm great. Can't throw great around that. Good player is not what we're gonna have at center. I'm confident in saying that already.
Who starts at center this year? Because I know there's a little bit of a battle.
Cooper.
I know he's looked good. I know Brock Hoffman kind of was talked about in there too. So Cooper Beebe, we think he's 100%.
Cooper Beebe, 100%. It's just physical attributes aren't even close. It's just not even close. And I'm not even Voch and Tuck can break it down way better than me. I'm just telling you, from what I've seen, I'm like, oh, that looks different. You can handle a one tech by yourself. That's different. We haven't been able to do that since Travis Frederick had to retire. Losing Armstrong and Fowler at face value is like that's damaging. But we didn't actually lose our starting defensive ends. We let Washington make our backup defensive ends their starting defensive ends.
Yeah.
Our starting defensive ends are still there. DeMarcus Lawrence and Michael Parsons are still there. I don't know where they weren't starters. Stephon Gilmore did great for us last year. But we minus Stephon Gilmore and add back Trayvon Diggs. I know everybody thought he retired. He's still around. And we looked really good last year without him.
Yeah.
So the subtractions are bad. Like, say, for instance, we lost Michael Gallup. And I feel bad because he had to retire because of the injury and stuff like that. But that's addition by subtraction because he never was right after the injury, hence the retirement. So we'll have a better receiving core just for the mere fact that we'll have somebody that can physically do what we need X to do. So it's just certain things that it might not, at face value, it's like, oh, the Cowboys took a step back. But in essence, we have really filled those positions well. There's two, if you want to talk about two things that we need to work on, maybe one now is defensive tackle, and it's still running back. But I don't want to even start that conversation because this will go off the rails. But other than that, it's not nearly as bad as everybody thinks it is because they make it seem like all of our starters left. A lot of the people that we are replacing them with are like draft picks and people that we've groomed. But
you have to be careful, though, crowning rookies as preseason. It's preseason.
Right.
Because I will tell you this. I looked real good in preseason. I had a lineup against DeMarcus Ware. Week 1, 2013, Sunday Night Football.
Week 1 sucks for D.
You gotta go back and watch the. I agree with that, crowning rookies.
Oh yeah.
But when you go back and watch some of the players that we're crowning them over in specific situations, I'm not trying to downplay Tyler Biadasz because he's a hard worker and he worked himself into a great center. But he physically couldn't do what we needed him to do in certain situations because he just don't have it in him. Tyler Guyton is, I'm not going to say he's Tyron Smith. I'm not about to speak blasphemy. But what we don't have to worry about is the fact that if he goes down to pick up $1 he dropped, his back going out. So it's certain things like that we just have more confidence in our team where only Cowboys fans, like true Cowboys fans, are like, oh, no, I think we're pretty good this year. As opposed to what Stephen A. Smith says, we're going to finish 4th in the East. And that. Well,
I mean, look, there's a reason why I'm talking to you guys and not someone that's just going to say ridiculous things because you guys are also enlightening me. When I hear these things, this is going to make me better, and this is part of the reason why I think you can have a real dialogue because I wasn't going to let you go down the Tyron Smith because if I could make a left tackle in a lab and just give him a new back, that's the guy you create.
That's all he needs, a new back.
Right. It just that is the tough part, and I know how hard it is to play left tackle in this league or offensive line in general as a young rookie. There's going to be growing pains. I'll tell you that.
No question.
With Dak getting the ball out the way he does, it's going to make up for a lot of those issues. What also helps a quarterback is being able to turn around and hand it off to somebody. Right. So do we want to go there or because this is crazy to me? JTuck, I know you. I'm assuming this is a back and forth. So JTuck, what's the down low here? And we're talking about Zeke.
It's a civil war going on in Cowboys Nation right now, Justin.
It ain't. No, it ain't. It ain't no Civil War.
Boch. You get the deciding vote.
No, it ain't.
It is a damn creative discussion. It is not a Civil War.
All right, JTuck, you go first. Boch, you get to come in, and then Rome, you can finish it off.
I love it.
One of the names that you mentioned that we'll probably miss, I will say Tony Pollard is one of the names. Now, the headline, I broke down damn near 70 running backs in the draft. The Cowboys didn't draft at least one of them, right? It passed on Trey Benson, Braylon Allen, Isaiah, like the list goes.
Braylon Allen,
yeah, he's a
man-child.
I had talked about him ad nauseum. So, what it is right now, you have Ezekiel Elliott, you have Rico Dowdle, you have Royce Freeman, you have Deuce Vaughn, who was a draft pick last year, kind of the darling of that draft, right? So what I was saying, if you look at the running back room as it's currently constructed, as of right now, Ezekiel Elliott is our running back one. He can do a lot of different things. Now, is he an explosive 2016 Zeke? Absolutely not. But pass pro, leadership, understanding the scheme, he's going to get short downs. He got a nose for the end zone. He's going to be able to catch out the backfield. Like, it's old reliable, right? Now, me personally, I wouldn't stop and feel like we have Zeke, we're good. We don't need to address that room. If the Israel Abanikanda gets cut by the Jets, bring him on in, because I feel like we still need to add the additional talent. But what I was saying is, I know I don't have to worry about Zeke. It's kind of the same thing you were saying with Tyron Smith. Yeah, he's going to have the injuries, right? He might miss a game or two, but when Tyron Smith is out there on Sunday, I ain't got to worry about nothing. I'm good. I'm good on the left side. I feel like the same thing with Ezekiel Elliott. If he's out there on Sunday, I don't have to worry about some linebacker doing a stunt and he missed his pass pro and Dak's going to get smoked off the edge. Like, I can trust it with Zeke. So that's why I'm saying for him as of right now, he's my RB1. And I'm sure that Voch Lombardi agrees with me right now, because those other running backs that we have in house, they can't stay healthy. They're not durable. They haven't shown that they can bring on the same type of things that Zeke can bring on. 15 Zeke. He's looking sleek right now, too.
All right. JTuck, you're done. Voch, you're up.
Zeke is 100% running back one. But that's my problem here. And what I love about this panel, we've all played football at different levels at some point. Seniority in football is a thing.
Right.
It just is what it is. Yeah. It ain't fair. I didn't even call it favoritism, because a lot of people call it favoritism. It ain't favoritism. It's just seniority. So the question that I posed to my audience, does seniority roll over? If you 2018, 2019 Zeke, you have a ton of seniority. But if you slow down and you leave and you come back, do you have that same kind of seniority? And if you do, is that okay? That's the question that I'm posing here. So yes, Ezekiel Elliott is running back one, but he ain't running back one because he's the best running back on the roster. He's running back one because of this idea of rollover seniority. And this is where that becomes a problem. I've never seen, and this is just the nature of the game. Offensive linemen can play till they 30-something, right? That's just the game. I've never seen a running back decline 3 years in a row, go to another team, decline again, and go back to the original team brand new and better than ever. I've never seen that before. If Zeke was a true member of this committee, I can live with Zeke being a true member of this committee. But the problem is Zeke has seniority. How many times? I want to look Rome in the face when I say this. Rome, how many times has Tony Pollard been on the field killing it? And he'll break off a 40-yard run and he ain't tired at all. He ain't huffing and puffing. But Zeke will go, I want to go in, and he'll call Tony out. And he has the seniority to do that.
That wasn't seniority though.
And that was either seniority.
That was money.
Let me ask a question.
Okay. Cool.
Let me add to it.
I got you. Some ancillary concept of the best dude not being in there now. That's my problem. Right. So I like Rico Dowdle. Rico is hurt guy. That's fair. But is Zeke gonna tap on the shoulder and be like, hey, get Rico out and let me go in? Is he going to? I really like Royce Freeman. I love him as a thumping back, situational guy. He's 230 pounds, got a little wiggle, 4.1 yards of carry. I was like, all right, Royce. I wonder if Zeke and his seniority gonna make it to where Royce ain't even on the team anymore. That's what I'm worried about with Zeke. If Zeke was just humble running back three, and look, I'm not saying Zeke is a non-humble, non-arrogant guy. I ain't saying that. But is the Jerry Jones, Mike McCarthy thing going to get in the way of us having a true running back committee situation? I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Zeke is running back one, and I think he about to get 20 carries and 5 catches. And I'm going to be mad as hell. Go ahead, Ron.
I think I'm in the middle. No, I'm not in the middle because I know where Tuck stands.
Pick a side. You can't be in the middle. Pick a side.
You can't be in the middle here.
No, my point is this.
Middle.
My point is this with Zeke. I never wanted him to be running back one, but I understand what you're saying about seniority. He's probably going to be running back one by default. I was the person on the front line. Hey, go get me Derrick Henry. I've been beating on the table for Dalvin Cook because I know that Zeke can't carry this running back room by himself. But every chance we got, they scoffed at it. We don't need nobody in free agency. All right.
Right.
We don't need nobody in the draft. All right. After the draft, I think they tried to call some people. And because they're trying to pay everybody, as Voch would say, $38, no one wants to come. So you call Zeke and I come for $26. So he's here now. But I do get what he's saying when he says his seniority could be a problem. This is my glass half full. I'm hoping that ain't the case. Because yes, that will make me mad if Zeke is pulling good players off the field because he wants to if he has just all autonomy and he can just say, hey, I'm going in right now. But if that's not the case, if it is a true running back committee, I think situationally Zeke can be used in the right places. That's what I look at. Because I know in certain places that Zeke can excel. If you want Zeke to go out there and bust one for 50 or 60, I'm out too. But I don't even think Zeke would say he could do that.
Yeah. So is Zeke running back one or not?
Zeke is running back one because every running back on this roster has done something in the preseason. Every running back has.
But he didn't get a chance, though. That's not fair.
He didn't get a chance to do what?
Because he's the veteran, and I feel like Zeke is running back on the roster because we didn't do anything in the draft.
We didn't do it. That's right, Tuck.
So I would understand a lot of people's where Voch is coming from if we had this young running back and Zeke is kind of just standing in the way of him getting the opportunity. If you're standing in the way of Rico Dowdle, who's been a career backup who cannot stay healthy. It just is what it is. I trust because Zeke last time he was in Dallas had over 800 yards and 12 touchdowns. They're going to trust Zeke over Rico. Now, if we would have drafted somebody young and this was Trey Benson and Zeke, oh hell, I would have been feeling just like Voch. Like, no, we don't.
I got something for Voch though.
But as of right now, whose progress is he stopping? Is it Deuce or is it Royce Freeman? Because we saw a little skedaddle in the preseason game. Everyone got excited and says that Ezekiel Elliott, one of the leading rushers in Cowboys history, should be playing in preseason games. And try to
I got a question for you.
Why are we worried about? You know what you're doing? This is like DeMarco Murray being incredible.
Nope.
Then he goes to the Eagles and he's bad. Then he goes to the Titans and he's bad. And we going, man, let's get DeMarco Murray.
Well, what did the Patriots have to do with us? That's not our offensive line.
So
we didn't sit here and talked about Cooper Beebe getting more push and being more physical and look how physical Tyler Guyton is.
This was funny about you, Jay.
But Voch.
Hold on, one more thing. I'm sorry.
The Patriots. We acting up.
I'm gonna have to step in here at some point. One more thing, Voch.
One more thing, JTuck. I've seen you fuss at Eagles fans and you talk crazy about Jaden Hurts's tush push touchdowns. Zeke's 12 touchdowns are all 1 yard tush push.
That's why I wanted him back.
It's the same thing
because we couldn't score on the goal line.
That's cool, but we can find somebody that can get you tush push touchdowns.
We can do it last year,
huh?
So think about that Dolphins game when Tony Pollard got smacked in around the red zone. Zeke would have got there.
Give me Royce, give me Hunter. Look, I agree with you. My bad. This is running long.
This is why I had to bring up Zeke, Justin. Bro, I do appreciate it. You warned me.
Zeke can go down.
We about to go live after. You know what I'm saying?
I also now realize I didn't think we would spend any time on Trey Lance, and I did not think we'd spend 10 minutes on Ezekiel Elliott. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. Here's a question. You mentioned Dalvin Cook. You mentioned some of these free agents. Is there anyone in free agency you think they might reach out to? Is Dalvin Cook in there? Is like I'm going to say this name and don't get mad at me, Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, is there another receiver that might need to be addressed in there? D-line.
I can tell you what they're going to do.
Y'all traded for Jordan Phillips, who I play with in Arizona, who's a great 3-tech, but had some injury issues.
Sure. The Cowboys won't trade or do anything until after week 2 when veteran salaries are not guaranteed. And then if Dalvin Cook's still on the street, they'll sign him because they don't do it's all business. That's when you're gonna see Linval Joseph walk through the door, but that's another story for another day. Right. We wait until it's a certain time frame to sign veterans, and we're waiting for that day. So Dalvin Cook, we probably already called him. Hey, if you're not signed by week 2, we'll give you a call. So that's when you can look for those names to be. If we don't look great in the running back room, if everyone looks great, then that's it's a non-conversation. But if we're looking like we're struggling, one of the veterans will get a call just right when we don't have to guarantee their contract, because that's how the Cowboys move.
But also too, Rome, JTuck said this earlier, right? Like there are some teams that got like 4 running backs.
Yes,
the
sir.
Jets got 4, the Dolphins got about 4 in my life. And at some point, somebody gonna hit the street, and that's when Will McClay gonna pick up the phone and take somebody practice squad.
That's the dream. That because you know what? All this Zeke defending, I'm not bringing it back up. I'm just saying, if got one of those running backs, no one's gonna argue though.
Right.
If we brought in Israel Banaconda, if we brought in
Jeff Wilson or something.
Yeah, we'll be like, you know what? Yeah. The arguments will stop because we'll be like, yo, we got a young stud.
Right. Yeah.
Like, we'll be just fine.
All right. So you guys mentioned some players that you might like and how they'll approach it signing after week 2. That's a great point. Money talks in Dallas. But are there some guys on the roster right now that I haven't brought up yet or I haven't talked about? I'll give each of you a chance if you want to highlight somebody that you're like, hey, remember this name, and we'll stamp it right now. I'll put the time down, and we'll play this when they go on a run and get you guys into the playoffs.
I'm a biased offensive line guy, so I'm just gonna go 73 Tyler Smith. You're
picking an all pro as your like look out for him.
Tyler Smith,
look out for him because he's gonna be even better. I was having a conversation with my guy. Shouts out to Jeff Kavanaugh. He was like, Voch, who's the best player on the Cowboys offense right now? And you can say 4, you can say 4, and you can say 88. I think 73 and 70 have real shots of being the best player on your team, because you may see somebody struggle with this. You may see Dak throw a pick. You may see CeeDee Lamb, getting locked up by somebody. I haven't seen Tyler Smith just get bona fide whooped before. I've seen some good fights.
Zach Martin is the best player. He might be the best player in Cowboys history. He might be the best guard to ever play this game. So Tyler Smith, he's second in that room. Like he is physically can do things, and this is the one area where I probably can speak on. Tyler Smith, his best plays are better than most.
Yeah.
But he also will throw some whiffs from time to time. Not very often. He can recover with the best of them. Zach Martin never whiffs. Zach Martin doesn't get beat. Zach Martin is as consistent as possible. So I can't believe this is on me. I haven't even talked about either guard.
You could help me get hype.
Zach Martin, man. I mean, Zach Martin is probably the greatest guard of all time.
I agree.
So I can't argue. I love you giving a guard shout out too.
To speak that highly of Tyler Smith, and that was his first year playing guard because he played left tackle his rookie season. So
glad they didn't try to move him back.
His biggest plus is he got Zach to give him advice. Zach didn't have anybody,
right?
So Zach is giving him advice. So it's even better.
It's insane. Okay, all right. Tyler Smith, JTuck, you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna do someone that's not as highly known as some of the players, and I'm gonna say Wanye Thomas, safety. He was an undrafted guy, but man, he jumps off the screen, and I feel like Mike Zimmer is going to have to find a way to utilize him a lot more. He can play single high, he can play in the box, he can come downhill. He's like 215. He'll get mad if I say 217, but like he is a guy that is all over the field making plays. If you watch the preseason game versus the Raiders, he had that big hit for the pass breakup. So it's like Wanye Thomas, I feel like is an unknown player that just the average kind of football fan would be like, okay, who is this guy out there on Dallas number 30 with this blocky number out there shutting stuff down? So I'm gonna go with Wanye Thomas, but there's a few more, but I'm gonna stick with one with Wanye.
All right, perfect. That's a player that I didn't have on my bingo card at all today. So that's a good one to know. So when they ask me about it, I got something to say. Sure. All right, Rome.
I'm gonna go with Big Biscuit.
Who is
Jake Ferguson.
Oh, okay. So I'm sure
that's his nickname, Big Biscuit. I ain't give it to him.
Certified star this year.
I think Jake Ferguson is really on the precipice of serious stardom. You don't really got to take my word for it. Travis Kelce, one of the best in the game, literally gave him a shout out like about 2 years ago before I was even really paying attention to him. Just saying that he likes that young guy down in Dallas. And I was just like,
look alike too.
Yeah, that which is weird. Now, hopefully they can play alike, but that's another story. But, I just think that he brings a lot of bravado to our offense, and I feel like he earned every bit of it because when we brought him in, he was supposed to be just a blocking tight end, and he's done nothing but prove himself. The Cowboys even drafted a tight end in the second round last year, I think, with the attempts of possibly replacing him if he didn't work out. And all he did was step up to the plate and show and prove all year. Even in that bad playoff game, the one thing that I've heard everybody say is, you know who showed up? Right, Jake Ferguson. So I love his bravado. I love what he brings to the team. So that's the name at the end of the year that you're going to be like, wow, the Cowboys got another star somehow, and they didn't even have to sign him in free agency.
Heard he got into a little scrap today at practice.
People are talking about him. People are definitely talking about him. There's stars all over the board. And Rome, you brought up a great point. A lot of the guys you left weren't going to be impact players. You still have the starters on that team. So that's a great point. So now we looked at the team. I mean, we've gone all the way from Wanye Thomas to the biggest star, Zeke. We had spent the most time on Zeke today, to Dak and CD. Sorry. Shouldn't have brought it up. Who is the biggest threat in the NFC East this year? I think it might go without saying, but I'm going to let everyone kind of handle who they see and kind of their predictions for let's do this. Biggest threat, and then how you see the NFC East shaking out this year, 1 through 4. So give me your predictions on that.
The Dallas Cowboys are the biggest threat to the Dallas Cowboys. And I'm not saying that just as some kind of homery Cowboy fan. If the Cowboys show up, take care of business, do what they supposed to do, get in on time curfew and all that kind of thing, nobody go to jail, no nonsense. If the Cowboys take care of business, the Cowboys will be the best team in the division, and I just believe in momentum, and I just believe in, what I see on film and all this kind of stuff. The Giants, they got a way to go. Maybe quarterback is a situation y'all got to have whatever. Cool. The Washington Football Wizards, they got a young quarterback, young team. They got some veterans over there.
Fool, bro.
Shouts out to Dan Quinn, brand new coaching staff. It may take them a year or so, but I think they're like number 3 for me. The Philadelphia Eagles are your biggest ops, but you can whoop them. You can whoop them because you've been whooping them. You should have went 2-0 versus them last year, but the Dallas Cowboys got in your way. You should have went 2-0 versus them the year before that, but the Dallas Cowboys got in your way. And besides that, Dak's only lost to the Eagles like what, 4 times altogether?
Sorry, my dog just bars in.
It's all good though, man. So, in my mind, just watching the Eagles decline over time like that, and then they just collapse at the end of the year, I think they're going to have some issues. Kellen Moore is going to show up and that run game is going to disappear. That verbiage and nomenclature and that long wordy ass offense is going to kick in. Jalen Hurts going to have to scratch his head a little bit and figure that out. And Saquon Barkley's going to have to run out a shotgun and all that kind of little stuff. And like, hey man, I think the Eagles got some things to figure out. Meanwhile, the Cowboys, it took them last year to figure out who they were. And I think the Cowboys know who they are now. We're going to feed CeeDee Lamb. We're going to feed Ferguson. We're going to try to run the ball with Zeke a little bit. And Brandon Cook's going to get busy. And we're going to go play some defense. And, Mike Zimmer's probably somebody that we should have mentioned. But I think the Cowboys are number 1. I'm not just saying that because I'm a fan, but I think the only person getting in the Cowboys' way is the Cowboys. I think
if you don't put Cowboys 1, you have them at 2. So, I don't think it's crazy to say them as 1. That's a great point. Biggest threat. That actually is the question I'm most interested to ask the Eagles fans is, how do you come back from like an internal crumble from within last year? That team self-imploded, and they brought back most of the same players. All right, Rome, I'm going to let you go next.
I echo the sentiments. Our biggest obstacle is ourselves. It's as simple as this. Cowboys and Eagles, if you want to say they're close, it's more so just because of perception. But at the end of the day, they have way more question marks on their team going into this year than the Cowboys do, even though the media won't let you think that. Because if you just go to the defensive side of the ball, the Cowboys, I can say defensive strength. The Eagles have so many question marks. They lost Fletcher Cox and Hassan Reddick. Their main 2 pass rushers left. One retired, one is gone or whatever. They signed some dude that might be good in Bryce Huff. They got question marks in linebacker room.
Bryce Huff can play.
Yeah, but he ain't Micah Parsons.
Nah.
Well, I'm not trying to compare him. I'm trying to compare him to Hassan Reddick.
Yeah. Right.
Well, he's not Hassan Reddick. But
you're right.
He's a good player.
Yeah, gotcha. I got
he's on the come up. But when I really look at linebacker room, a lot more question marks. We brought in Kendricks, and we got a lot more young linebackers. Corner room, they got Darius Slay, we got Trayvon Diggs, except we got another all-pro cornerback in Deron Bland. So it's a little different. Safety room, we have a phenomenal safety room. I don't know what they're doing over there on their end. When it comes to the offense, I will give them their receiving room because they got two great receivers. I'm not going to take none away from them. Quarterback, you already know where I'm leaning with that, so there's not really no discussion. I'll get him running back because I'm not going to do that.
They eked out running back?
I got to begrudgingly give him that. But I think, personally, if our offensive line can play up to its potential, that's closer than most people may think. So I just feel like the biggest line of delineation between both teams, like I said, if you wanted to get away from players, it's coaching. Because they have a coach in their team that most people don't even acknowledge as their coach. Whenever people bring up the Eagles, they bring up Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio. They act like Nick Sirianni ain't even there anymore, and he's the coach. You can't have any success in the NFL without the head coach being in charge. When you look at the Cowboys, we have at least a little bit of symmetry because I think Mike McCarthy's excited that Zimmer's there to maybe help save his job. I don't think it's any type of like animosity at all. Because if Zimmer has success, McCarthy keeps his job. So it's different. I think Kellen Moore's like, man, if we mess up enough, I might get the head coaching job. So it's just a little different. You know?
Did you guys hold on. Is Kellen Moore a sleeper cell? Did you guys send him like to do a 2-year journey to come back and blow up the Eagles once and for all? That's some Illuminati shit right there, Voch. That's some Illuminati shit.
I love that shit. That's why I love it.
Mercenary.
Go ahead.
So I just look at it like this. The Cowboys, like Voch said, we're our own worst enemy. When we get in our way, that's when we struggle. But I'm not worried about the Eagles. If it was a team that we couldn't beat, then we can have it. Like if the 49ers are in our division, then maybe we can have a discussion. But we beat the Eagles every year, no matter what our roster looks like.
So it's the Shanahan tree. We just got to avoid the Shanahan tree.
Right.
Not anymore because Mike Zimmer don't have trouble with the Shanahan tree. That's
and then
story.
3 and 4. Do you even care? Is it Giants, Washington, Giants?
I don't want to be disrespectful to the Giants, but I think it's Washington Giants.
I'm not on the team. I'm seeking the truth.
It's mainly, I think the Giants got a good defense. No
Dexter
question.
Lawrence. We're talking about D tackles.
Ryan Byrne.
Don't know. And Kayvon Thibodeau, Bobby Okereke. They got some.
So y'all got defense.
Pieces.
Ryan Burns too.
But it's Jones. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just Jones. I don't think he's gonna have it.
All right, hold on then. Let me ask you this question. Tuck, I will get to you. I know you wrap this up. But what if Dak, Saquon went to Philadelphia? What if Dak didn't get paid and the Giants are? How would you feel if Dak went to New York?
Then
he come sweep us next year.
No. Say it again, Tuck, loud and clear. Say it again so we can clip it.
And we become the New York Giants.
That's it.
Right. So we're the laughing stock at the bottom of the division.
Quarterback.
We out there trying to talk between Trey Lance and Cooper Rush, and City's out there getting frustrated. We got a good defensive line, a lot of good defensive talent, but we the bottom dwellers. So no.
CeeDee Lamb turns into my guy with the Raiders demanding a trade.
Yeah.
Demanding a trade.
JTuck, how do you see it breaking down? I'm assuming very similarly.
I'm slightly different, right? So just keep it a buck. I got Philly win the division, right? Just off the fact, right? We had no back-to-back winners of the division since I don't know when, right? So I feel
hold on, that is a good point. The NFC East hasn't seen repeat champions.
Right.
I don't believe in that curse.
I mean, it's real. You know what I'm saying?
It's like the Madden curse. The Madden curse don't even work no more.
And I feel like Philly may have did like a final destination. They kind of just gave it to us last year, so maybe they broke the curse. But I think that Philly will win the division, and I also think that our schedule is a lot harder. So I'm kind of worried about our out of division games as well. So I got Philly winning, got Dallas second, and then I have the Commanders. Now, crazy when people say this, I think the NFC East is going to have 3 playoff teams. I think the Commanders is going to sneak in the playoffs. Because I think
the NFC East, as you saw last year, the NFC and the AFC is a better division probably of your top teams.
Right.
The NFC, it's down towards the bottom. I mean, look, Green Bay, the Giants almost made the playoffs last year. As crazy as that sounds, they beat Green Bay, and we actually had our if we would have beat the Saints, we fucked that up. But it's crazy. A team definitely could sneak in there. So I'm gonna do this real quick as we're just gonna roll through it real quick, just so we can see where you see like the record. So I know you guys all say you got 2 Dallas winning the division. JTuck saying Philly with Dallas right there, Washington making it. So I'm going to roll through and just give me win or loss. I don't even need to hear why, because I've already kept you guys an hour longer than I promised, but this has been great. I've learned a ton too. All right, week 1 at Cleveland. And then every time just go Rome, Voch, JTuck. That's how I have you on my screen, and then we'll just keep it moving because I don't want to. I want to hold it up. And if I know someone's gonna, I know Voch already's gonna say something. He's gonna have something he's got to say about a team.
We going 17-0. What we doing?
All right.
I'm just gonna say yes or no.
Is this with the signed Dak Prescott, not signed Dak Prescott?
Yes, as
He's
is.
with Dak.
Dak's there, CD's there, the whole team's
Right.
healthy. I don't need to play any what ifs because you
We
never
got it.
know
Okay,
on that
cool.
front. So Cleveland Browns, Tom Brady's calling the game. Where we going there?
Cowboys.
Win.
Win.
Cleveland got some good defense. I think that offense finna be weird looking for a little.
That's what
Okay,
I'm talking
Tyler Guyton getting welcome to the NFL. Myles Garrett, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm going Cleveland. I'm sorry, I got to do it. Saints.
Win.
Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Next question. Cowboys. Ravens.
No.
Ravens.
Ravens.
You know what,
We
man?
at home though. We at home, but the Ravens gonna run the football, and I don't know where we at with like run defense yet. So
That's what's
Ravens.
going. That's how we gonna learn. We gonna learn that.
I think the Ravens got a lot of question marks. I think the
We do too.
Cowboys. I think the Cowboys beat the Ravens. I really do. I mean, I think I got you losing to the Browns, but I got you beating the Ravens. Giants. I already know where you guys are
I
going.
think
That
that's when
one.
that Linval Joseph call going. What's that number again?
That's what's gonna get him
I'm going to
signed.
jail though. I'm gonna celebrate like I knew we was gonna win, but the Ravens, I think we're gonna lose that one.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Steelers.
Win.
Win.
Lions. Right before the bye. Players are already gonna. My biggest fear though, like you said, you guys already had the pre-party after the post-party after the Super Bowl. It's bye week coming up. It's an early bye week too. But Detroit Lions.
Go win.
I got to win as long as the Lions don't throw the ball to no offensive lineman or whatever. Yeah, win.
I think I'm gonna have you guys overlooking that one. I got you beating Baltimore, losing to Detroit.
Nah, not after that game last year. We ain't overlooking them. We owe them. Everybody act like we ain't even beat them last year.
Play their hearts out that game. They
They act like we lost that game. We gonna play like it's the Super Bowl.
Good point. All right, we got bye week. Everybody wins on bye week, and we're coming back. San Francisco. I know you guys have already had this one circled. San Francisco.
No,
Just
no.
you just conceded it.
We are losing.
Oh my
till
God,
we
the
beat 'em.
faces. The faces.
We are losing till we beat them.
All right.
They didn't
lost
beat
to
us in the
San Fran.
submission. I ain't even gonna lie. So
I was talking big last year. Then when they did that, I was like, okay, bro, y'all got this. Like,
y'all got it.
All right, maybe we rest the starters. Maybe we go back to back bye. All right, lost to San Fran. I got lost as well. Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are coming on strong. They're NFC South favorites now.
Mm-hmm.
I can see a shootout like Cowboys and Seattle last year. I see a high scoring type game, but I go Cowboys.
Yeah, I got Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Me too. I got Cowboys in that one. First
Well,
Philly
as long as
game.
it's a prime time, because if it's Kurt in prime time, we could.
Kirk gonna lose price.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. I have to look it up. But if it's prime time, yeah, you're right. That's a good call. Well, I don't even know if Kirk Cousins is going to be the quarterback at that point.
Right.
Michael Penix might be in there by that point.
Stuff.
All right, beating the Eagles. Week 10, first Philly game. Where's it at? It's in Dallas.
It's in Philly. No, it's in Philly.
Oh, it's in Philly?
It's in Dallas, I thought.
No, we got Philly. We play in Philly. No, we play in Philly late. You're right.
Yeah,
They play. Yep.
The first one's in Dallas. Yeah.
It don't
So
matter.
win.
It don't matter.
Win,
We beat
right?
the shit out of Philly both
Yeah,
times.
we beating Philly. Beating Philly.
Yeah.
All right, I got the win there. Texans, battle for Texas.
I got to win there.
It's gonna be a fun one, but I got.
I'm going to
They're
that game.
still little bro. I mean, in Texas, it's the it's still little bro, but I think the Texans get up for that game. I think there's another one where you guys could fall asleep at the wheel. Texans are damn good.
Yeah,
I got Texans winning that one.
I
Commanders.
want to go win. I want to go
I got
win.
Okay,
Cowboys too.
All right.
I got Cowboys.
All right. Commanders, week 12.
Win.
We gonna beat the shit out. Watch the football wizard.
I love that. All right. Giants. You got Commanders, Giants back-to-back weeks.
Big
Is
sweep.
there any
Big
Is there any
bro.
chance?
Bring them
Big
brooms
bro.
out. Bring them brooms out.
We're gonna beat them both.
Yeah, I got the win there. Bengals.
I got us winning. Cincy.
Yeah, I got to win.
Night game, ESPN.
I mean, we did beat them with Cooper Rush, so it's possible. Like, let's not act
that's
like
fair,
it ain't
right?
happening.
Yeah. I got Bengals.
I think I got like the Bengals in that one too. All right, Panthers. I don't even have to ask you guys. Moving on. It's just unless someone thinks that the Panthers are going to do something. Tampa Bay.
They're going to be prepping for a draft pick.
Yeah, exactly. Tampa Bay. I mean, they did win the division last year, but
Cowboys.
We not the Eagles. We don't struggle with
weakest
Tampa Bay.
division.
Yeah. I got
All right, now we get interesting. Now this could be like division on the line. Week 17 at Philadelphia. It'll be flex to prime time. The sweep, is it happening?
We beating the shit out of Philly and Philly.
I got Philly winning at Philly.
I got Philly winning in Philly too.
I'm going for the sweep.
All right, we'll go 2-2 on that one, and then the Commanders Week 18.
I got
This the game we lose, I think.
Yeah, it's Cowboys lose. Yeah,
There's always some weird stuff like that. I think this is the game we lose.
There's no shot. We're definitely going to win the division. Then you lose this, and this is how the Eagles overtake.
Hey, you know what's weird though, y'all?
It
what's weird? We played the Commanders in the last week. Don't we play them at home?
No,
we play them.
That's in Washington.
At home, yeah.
Yeah, that's at home. Yeah.
No, we play them at home this year.
It's at home.
Which is
it's
weird.
Home.
The last one at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think we lose that?
So the Cowboys could do something weird where we beat Philly the week before and we up on the division to lock it all up
and lose at home to Washington.
This is some Dallas. That's some Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
You've been scarred.
Yeah.
You've been scarred.
Yeah, Tuck is scarred.
That's some scarred shit.
True Dallas Cowboys stuff. And Dan Quinn gets the Gatorade.
Or we beat the shit out of Cincinnati and we get so emotional, but we lose to Carolina the next week. That's what we'll do.
Right.
That's some Dallas.
That's the one.
With some
that's honestly the NFL in a nutshell. Because I was in Arizona, we were 8-0. We came out there and whooped you guys in Dallas with Kyler Murray.
They own us.
And then we went to Detroit, who was the worst team in football at the time, and they beat us. So like that is a real like that high of winning and losing. All right, yeah. I have 11-6. I'm still torn. I think based on what I did 11-6. You guys are probably around 12-5, 13-4.
Like no. I don't got 13-4.
12-5.
Yeah.
I said earlier if everything break right, 12-5. If it break wrong, 11-6. So it's right there. Then you right where I was at.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way you guys aren't in the contention. I think it is Dallas's division to lose because of everything that happened with Philly down the stretch. They got to prove to me that they dug out or whatever the hell they were into. So I'm with you. I think Dallas wins the division.
It's gonna be one what the hell happened game though. There's one of them. There's one of them in there. So
I think we got a win we don't expect. That's what I think.
I don't think the Falcons is because
you're just hoping it's San Fran. You're hoping that's San Fran. If you guys get that San Fran one,
I'll be a little afraid that we beat San Fran
and then lose to the Panthers. Like
because we beat San Fran, we gonna be feeling ourselves all year. I kind of want to lose that game. We beat them, we gonna be like, we finally fixed everything. No, we didn't.
Yeah, we had packed up San Fran, and also Bryce Young comes in there and lays it down.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this has been amazing. I've learned more about the Cowboys and the fan base, and I guess money is everything in Dallas. That is one thing I learned. The money talks in Dallas, which I love because the money always tells the story. But no one has told the story better than you three today. I really appreciate you guys reaching out. Not reaching out. I reached out, responding, and coming on the show today. I'm going to get this thing posted. The Cowboys fans are going to love it. Anything else you guys want to sign off with?
I just want to say, shouts out to you, Justin. Shouts out to Rome. Shouts out to JTuck. I will say, we have a hell of a Dallas Cowboys content conglomerate over here. Like, yes, it's us or whatever, but, it's about, it may be like 40 of us now, and we all do something different. We all got different flavors and styles. So just as much as you had us and you had a great time, you could have gotten any other three of us and had a fantastic time. So absolutely. I just wanted to give a little nod to our guys over there. Shouts out to y'all.
Yeah, absolutely. And
guys and girls, pardon me, guys and girls, because we
got some ladies that talk ball.
We kill it.
We get down like that. We ESPN for real. Like in real life, like we have a roster, and I'm not just saying that because it's my family or whatever, but we got a squad. We got a squad. So shouts out to us.
We do. And thank you for recognizing that. You didn't have to do that and bring us on the platform. So, we'll probably bring you on our platforms when it's Giants week. But, thanks for seeing and appreciate what we do in our community because a lot of people don't. Or, realize what the content creator space really is. And we are the people, the glue is really tied to the team and to the fan base. So appreciate you for having us on, man. We'll do it again and, feed Zeke.
Absolutely. I just want to echo what both of them said. Thank you for having us on. I echo what Voch said, what Tuck said, man. Excellent. We got an excellent community. And he's right. You could have picked anybody. Mm-hmm. We run deep. We got depth on this side.
We got depth.
Hey man, you guys got more depth at the creator side than you have at D tackle right now. Right. So it's just we're gonna figure it out. But man, I really do appreciate it. Look forward to staying connected through the season, and we'll see how our predictions all worked out. But this was great.
Anytime.
Thank you. Appreciate it.